Welcome back. Senator Dick Ekplang joins us next. He's representing Plateau Central. He's a member of the APC. Good morning, Senator. Thank you for coming on today.
Yeah, good morning, and thank you for finding time to talk to us. I'm sure you have a deliberate desire to have peace on the Plateau. I'm very grateful.
Absolutely, and that's why we're doing this, rightly said. And, you know, yeah, so tell us, I mean, there's several narratives out there on what is going on, why, what needs to be done. There's a lot of that going on. But from your perspective, you represent that area. What do you think is really going on?
What I think is really going on is competition for a very limited natural resources land. I am an indigene of Plateau Central. I have lived and grown up in Plateau Central. I know what it used to be. I know what it is now. And I know that to some extent, we are not living as we used to be. I said limited resources against a very greater demand, increase in population, expansion of professional activities, and you know, people migrate, and so on and so forth. So for me, it is competition over very limited natural resources. And our country has a definition of citizenship and indigenship, and the functions and roles of these are very clear to us. If at all citizens and indigents live amicably and act responsibly to what the Constitution stipulates, I am very sure and definite that what is occurring might have not occurred. For me, I feel it that way.
Okay. When you say that you've lived there, you've grown up there, you know what it used to be and what it is now. At that time, talking about what it used to be, is it that there was no competition?
Well, I say limited. You know, there's population increase, and there's expansion of professional practices. In those days, you might be farming only about 2 to 3 hectares. Today, you are farming 10 hectares. Yesterday, you might have been having only about 10 cows. Today, you're having 100 cows. You know, there will be limited natural resources for you to function, and there can be clash, there can be competition. Yesterday, people used to migrate, but when in the migration, you migrate and probably get into another person's land. By that time, there's not too much competition on natural resources, but today there's the land, the natural resources are not even enough for the indigents, probably to tolerate an intruder. But then, if at all there are migrations, if at all there's expansion in professional practices, if at all there is increase in population, if at all there's influx of people coming into your land, if all of us will respect the Constitution, will have mutual trust, will live together in trust, respecting each other, I'm sure it would have been of an economic advantage to us.
Now, I know that you also do know, in many cases, many of those herders are not the owners of those herds. They herd them sometimes for some other persons. Now, with respect to trying to find the solution, living peacefully, understanding and respecting the Constitution as you spoke about, has there been any such narrative concerning having that conversation with those who send them out there to say, look, some of these things have got to change. We have to change the way we do things so that we can live together. Has that ever happened? Did they achieve any result if it happened?
I'm very certain that the crisis you see on the Plateau can be backdated to some decades back. And you are all aware that this has been the challenge for almost all the successive administrations. And you will be aware that Governor Lalong is the last governor of Plateau State. You will be aware that he was able to come up with a peace-building agency. He was able to come up with interreligious, interreligious association where different religions meet to dialogue, interreligious dialogue group, where people come together to discuss and have amicable way of relating. So what am I saying? You get back to Jang's period, you know, all the crises were there. Dari had a fair share of the crisis. So there has been a lot of efforts from a traditional point of view, from a religious point of view, from development associations point of view. All tiers of government have certainly have sufficient dialogues towards ending these crises amongst us. And I say it again, I wouldn't want to admit that most of our brothers, the Fulani, that we used to live together. I grew up in a village. I grew up with Fulanis. We live amicably together. We eat together. We do celebrations together. When they have marriages, we go. We take their kwasam, no. We eat their niri, nyama niri with them. And the highest a Fulani man will do to you at that time is probably inability of his boys, hates boys, to control the cows, and probably they get into a farm. And you have a way of settling it. And payments are made. And we live together. I assure you, live together very reliably. I have a lot of them that are friends. So I'm coming. Now, I believe that little crisis, if we're left alone, could be resolved. But when you have issues amongst yourself, and we run somewhere to report, and probably it is classified as an identity conflict, it is possible that a Yoruba man is having a problem with an Igbo man, but you wouldn't say your personal clash can be classified as a tribal clash. When a headsman has a clash with a farmer, it should be tackled like two of them having issues. It shouldn't be a Plateau indigene having issue with Fulani and Plateau indigene are fighting. When you classify it that way, it gets external support. But when you deal with criminality of individuals as individuals, and you try to settle them, it can end that way. So when crises are shifted from criminality of individuals to a crisis among identified groups, it expands. And if it is said that maybe Fulanis are killed by Plateau people, any Fulani anywhere will say they are killing my people. Before you know, support and reaction can come in. You know, it's a reflex act. The person will not go in to find out what happened between a Fulani and a headsman, a Fulani, a farmer, and so on and so forth. So for me, we are at the period of resolving trusts that have gone out between people who used to stay reliably, peacefully together. And in that case, for me, I thank channels, I thank the media, I thank you for creating an opportunity for us to speak about this, because when we speak about this from a brotherly point of view, we'll be able to fish out criminality amongst us. and will all accept to deal with criminality, anybody who is a criminal within us, without putting an identity to a criminal. When we put an identity to a criminal, it expands and it finds support. I want to believe that somewhere along the line, probably an indigent and probably a citizen have clashed. There might be a reason for that clash. If we nip it up from that position, it will not lead to this, that it is classified as this ethnic community is in clash with this ethnic community. It will expand and will not have control over it.
Well, I think it's also very important to emphasize once again that we truly sympathize with the people of Plateau, especially Mongo local government, who are currently going through this. We have friends from that area and lived there for a bit. That's in Jos and environment. So it's really very disheartening to see what is going on the Plateau. But you have talked about solutions. You've talked about different solutions. Each government, successive administration, finding solutions to this particular problem. Yet it seems to be defying all of the solutions that have been proffered so far. You have even talked about, this particular cause or this particular way of looking at the problem. And I'm sure that it's one of the things that they must have been saying within some of the institutions which the last administration tried to find. For instance, the Peace Building Committee, which the Lalong administration set up. To your mind, as someone who is from that particular area, why do you think that this has defied solutions so far?
I think there should be a political will to approach this issue. And that is why at the floor of the Senate, I brought in a motion of public importance, urgent public importance. And I brought it from a brotherly point of view. And I brought it because as senators, 109 representatives of the 109 constituencies, I would like us to approach it from a brotherly point of view.
When you say
I'm coming, sir.
I know, when you say political will on whose side?
All of us stakeholders in all tiers of government, we should come out to condemn this. We should come out to resolve this. We must be very decisive on it so that criminality should be punished. Anybody, any criminal should be punished, should be ruthlessly crushed.
So you think this has gone on because there has been no consequences for people dying?
Yeah, sometimes when criminals are caught, and probably you look at them from an identity point of view, it attracts sympathy, it attracts support, it becomes the responsibility for a particular identity to do all they can to free victims that are considered to be from their own faction. I wish that we withdraw the issue of identity in our clashes and ruthlessly crush criminals. Why am I saying so? In all the crises that takes place, all of us are victims. Both citizens and indigents are victims. All partisan party followers are victims. Both religion, all religious groups are victims. So who is safe? Who is safe? The best way is for us to critically accept that there is an act of criminality amongst us. And whoever is found wrong, that person should be rooted and punished according to the law.
Let's bring in our colleagues from Lagos.
Well, thank you, Chamberlain. Senator, let me follow up on the point you made about trying to remove identity from this. I was reading the president's statement where he talked about reprisal attacks, this essentially being reprisal attacks, and that they are needless and avoidable. But he spoke specifically about the fact that this is among communities. I mean, Magban has spoken about this. The communities, the indigents as well, they have spoken about this. So if you're saying remove the identity, but clearly these are communities that are, in quote, warring against each other, because the president has called it even reprisal. So essentially saying one community attacks the other, and the other community finds another time to attack that community. So why not speak to what it is really? What exactly is going on? Is it reprisals between the Fulani community and the indigents? Maybe speak to it. Let's be clear on what this is so that we can actually deal with it, rather than saying, don't let's give it identity. And some will say, maybe we're just papering over cracks at the end of the day.
Are you through? Is it through?
Yes, please, go ahead.
See him speaking.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. What brings about reprisal is because the crises have an identity. They are considered to have an identity. When a particular community discovers, or it is said that a particular tribe have risen against its tribe, it brings about reprisal. Whenever you see another of that tribe anywhere, you approach him and you begin to exchange blows or something like that. I'm just saying that there must be a beginning. And this thing has expanded. And the expansion comes in as a result of classifying crisis with identity. It is very possible that there was a beginning, and it might have been a clash between maybe a farmer and a Fulani man. If the crisis were nipped at that level, and probably probably you try to find out who is wrong, and at that level, that person is punished, it can come to an end. But when there's a clash, probably between a farmer and the indigenous farmer, and probably a Fulani herdsman, and the narratives are either they are killing Fulanis, or Fulanis are killing us, you know the reaction will be spontaneous. So that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
I can't say, I'm not saying that we've not risen, both groups and have not risen against each other, but there must be a beginning.
Right.
If it is nipped from the beginning, I believe that reprisals would not be repeating itself.
Okay, so quickly, Senator, the president in that statement as well spoke about tolerance and forgiveness as an end. And in the same vein, said that the security agencies must pursue those responsible, and they must face the full wrath of the law. There was a major allegation against the military, the army specifically, in that report earlier on, where one of the residents said that it looked like the military was foot dragging when it was time to chase after those that attacked their communities. And for them, they wonder how justice can be done if those responsible are not even arrested, and it looks like the security agencies are not pursuing them. Is this something you've also witnessed? Can you confirm that this is indeed the case?
You know, someone who is angry, someone who feels molested, and someone who is devastated, his immediate speech might not be what you will take immediately. Yes, of course, I do know that the ratio of the security to our population is very low. And sometimes when in crisis, you know that the man who feels molested, the man who feels offended, the man who feels devastated would even want you to do magic. And probably the military are human beings. They might not have the capacity to do the approach at time T. But again, I believe in the strong will of the president. Honestly, I believe in it. And I also believe in the immediate step taken by the Chief of Defense Staff. In our approach, in my motion in the National Assembly, I asked for prayers, and our prayers were overwhelmingly agreed upon by members of the Senate. And one of the prayers was that the Minister of Defense should redeploy and establish permanently the military at the crisis splash points. And that is done. I believe in the decisive decision of the Minister of the Chief of Defense Staff. I believe that the military in Mangu are going with a very strong will to do justice. And I pray that if we should be able to have some confidence in the military at this moment. It is lack of trust of yesterday that is making the people to look at the military as if probably they are not worried of the taken side. But I want to assure, I have a strong belief that General Abdul Salam, the GOC, who has been on the plateau, who did very well in the Barkin Ladi crisis, and he is someone that does not tolerate criminality. I believe that we're out to see a better thing. You're all aware that the curfew was placed on Mangu for 24 hours, but the curfew has been reduced from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. in the evening. I am certain that we will find solution. You know that my people are agrarian farmers. My people farm a lot, and it's a farming season. And when you are not, you cannot go to your farm, and you are not safe in your communities. Like the community in Gwet, the communities in my communities in Votni, Pushit, and so on. It's devastating. But I still want to assure my people, and I still want to rely that the military will do justice.
Okay.
Peace will come back.
Well, Senator, today is July 12th. Just about a week ago,
yep.
You made some comments on the floor of the Senate, recognizing, of course, that the insecurity issues are as prevalent as they are. But on that same day, you were reported as calling for amnesty for bandits, essentially saying that you queued against another public figure who had made a similar statement, saying nobody is perfect, so if there is genuine repentance, we should accommodate it. You don't beat a child to kill him, but to make him know that he has done something wrong. Now, that's what you said just about a week ago. And listening to you now, would you say that your position at that time is the same as at this very moment?
You were told. You were told that I said that.
Did you or did you not?
No, you didn't hear me saying that.
Did you or did you not say it?
You didn't hear me saying that.
It's in the media that you said it.
I did not say that.
Okay.
No, I did not say that. You will find two reports. You will find one report that I said amnesty should be granted to bandits. I assure you that when you leave a loose end to bandits, that there is amnesty to them, criminality will increase. Criminality will increase. But I said at that interview that, just as said, we should be preparing to create space for forgiveness, even amongst ourselves. The criminality going on in my village, we should be able to create room for forgiveness if dialogue is brought.
Okay. Now, on that very matter, Senator, just 1 second. Just 1 second, Senator. On that very issue, you said earlier that this case, the issues on the plateau, have been on for a very, very long time. And there are those who, historians would find a way to connect the dots from one situation to the other, one case to another, all of them possibly revolving around the same thing. So when you are talking about opening up a space for forgiveness where there is genuineness, I'm wondering, what's the assurance we have that we will not have another case in the near or far future whenever this kind of thing arises again, simply because, as you said, we were magnanimous and we chose to forgive?
I told you that we used to live well with the Fulani. And I told you that if we stop, if external interference is stopped, and we are left within ourselves, I sincerely believe that our usual cordial relationship can be brought back. But as soon as we run somewhere and come back, we seek support externally and come back, it will be very difficult to us to find a solution. That's why I told you briefly what it used to be. I told you that we grew up in the villages together. And at that time, there was a lot of trust, and we lived peacefully together. In fact, we interact very freely together. And I told you that if we don't create identity to criminality, we look at each other in the eye and try as much as all to sort it out whenever there are problems amongst us, with a mind of solving it and nipping it from the bud, without anybody, without any external influence. That peace can be sustained.
Just one more thing from me, Senator.
Where is that?
Pardon me.
I'm coming, sir.
Senator. Pardon me, just 1 second. When you say external influence, exactly what are you talking about?
I'm talking about, I told you earlier, when you bring identity to a crisis, each identity ran to his brothers, seeking for assistance, reporting. That one makes the crisis to expand. If you are saying, Marvel, the people of Mangu are in a clash with Fulani, Fulani anywhere would shout that they are killing his brothers. And if the crisis between a Marvel man in Wet and a Fulani man in Wet, and then the shout is that Fulani are killing Marvel people. You know, the Marvel man in Mangu will respond. The Marvel man in Mangun will respond. The Marvel man in Kopal will respond, because it is said that Fulanis are attacking my brothers in a particular place. That's why I said, by the time we reduce identity and deal with criminality of individuals, we could easily find solution.
All right, just one more thing before we go, Senator. In that report, some residents there, they believe that security agencies are culpable as well in this case, that they could have done some things differently and better. I mean, they were talking about allowing some people to escape. Yeah. So do you also share the same view? Is there something that needs to be corrected in that regard?
Again.
Yes.
Repeat it later.
The security agencies, some of the persons in that report, which in Plateau, they accuse the security, the military, of being culpable in some of this, in saying that they could have done some things differently to bring everybody, no matter who the person is, if they are guilty, to book.
Yeah. Well, I'm taking this. It goes to trust.
Okay.
I know that the governor is an PDP governor. I'm an APC candidate. But I know that the current governor is not sleeping. I know that he's doing all he could to bring this thing to an end. I've seen him running to Mr. President. Mr. President spoke to us that he was with him. They had some time with him. I'm sure as a leader, he is not happy and restless. But the governor is coming from Mangu. There are those who see him as if probably his mindset is to support Mangu as a leader. You know, this identity issue, it doesn't give him room. If you bring the military, and if you see one of the military persons, his name is Mohammed, the moment you see his tag Mohammed, you have an idea that this one has come to support the other side. So lack of trust. I want to be optimistic that by the time we have trust in the governor, we see the governor as governor of both Muslims and Christians, as governor of all indigents and citizens, and we believe that he is fair. Trust need to come in. But I believe that all of us, independent of tribe, independent of party, independent of religion, all of us must be on the same page to fight criminality. Whoever is found guilty should be ruthlessly crushed, no matter his identity.
All right, Senator Dicket Lang, he's representing Plateau Central. He's a member of the APC. We thank you for coming on, and we also will keep looking out and do our best to ensure that there's peace in the region, because, I mean, without peace in the country, there's nothing, little or nothing, that anybody can do. So we do hope that we'll all pull ourselves, everyone together, to ensure that all of these issues are addressed. Thank you for coming on, Senator, and all the best.
I'm very grateful for the opportunity, and I still talk to my people. Let's put our trust in the military, and I challenge the military that they have an opportunity to make it different now, and I thank the Minister of Defense. I want to assure you that all of us will be on the same page, and by the grace of God, we shall have peace in Mangu and all other parts of Plateau and Nigeria at large.
Thank you, Senator. Well, that is the show today. We do thank you all for watching. We'll see you again next time. I'm Chamberlain, so have a very good day.
Well, thank you for watching. I'm sure the Senator meant the Chief of Defense, perhaps, because there's no minister yet. But thank you so much for watching this morning. I'm Maokwe Yusuf. Goodbye.
I don't know why I'm tempted to say, do not steal manholes, do not steal runway lights, do not steal, literally. Let's be kind to others and to our nation, Nigeria. I'm Kayode Okikilo.
And I'm Aya Makinde. Do have a productive day.